Round 3 is underway. We're going to be following this series. We have HiGhDrA versus BabyMarine, just now about to begin. Winner goes up against Rex in a qualifying match. As Rex did just take down Demi 2-1 in that Zerg versus Zerg matchup. But here we go, spawning in the top left-hand corner of HardLed. We have the Italian Terran player, the Red Terran, representing himself, as he is currently teamless. It is BabyMarine. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player, representing his team, Roddy. It is HiGhDrA. From the land of the Netherlands. Here we go. Here we go, as we do have a HiGhDrA just opening up in a much more standard fashion. This time no proxies, no crazy shenanigans, not yet. We could get there later on in this series, but for the time being, everything is looking as it should. BabyMarine, he's not moving out for an eBay block or anything crazy like that. And HiGhDrA is moving out for a bit of a scout. MaxPax is an AI. Oh. Confirmed. MaxPax is ChatGPT? That would make sense. That would there you go. Is all around us. Looking for another back-to-back championship. The probe does come in. Does get quite a lot of damage dealt to that SCV. Getting very deep in the red. Pig 2013 champ Keck. I mean, that was back when Pig was the best player in Oceania. That was, I believe, 2013 was before the rise of Petraeus and Aegis. That was before the rise of course, Probe and the more modern era of Oceanic players. Like, Pig, like, legit was a very, very strong player back in the day. Even competed in regional events. Sorry, not just regional events. International events. Traveled around the world. Back in the day. He was Moonglade 2.0. As Moonglade was kind of the first big player in our region. Followed by Pig. Followed by Petraeus. Or arguably Aegis. I mean, you can... we don't have to get into that. But now, though, do have our Reaper getting across the map, trying to get a scout off. So far, it is going to be shut down by the Adept. Ooh, kind of a big loss there for BabyMarine, losing his initial Reaper. And he was unable to scout the tech. He was unable to confirm whether it's a Stargate or a Twilight Council. As we can see, it's going to be a Blink-based opener, but BabyMarine is in the dark. Behind this, getting to a 1-1-1, is going Hellion first, which makes a lot of sense. This Hellion is designed to dive. It's designed to try to rush into the natural, rush into the main, and try to get a follow-up scout. As Adept does shade into the mineral line, going to be denying a lot of mining. Doesn't kill anything, but again, the SCVs and even the Mule forced out. As we did mention, upon losing that Reaper, the pressure, the onus is on BabyMarine to try to get a read on what exactly is happening. Hellion is moving out, and HiGhDrA is walling off, and he's throwing down additional gateways. It's going to be a second, a third gateway, and a robo here as a part of the wall. The wall has been spotted by BabyMarine. This should be a bit of a tell. Should be a bit of a tell of what's going on. Widowmine drop is soon to be upon us. And HiGhDrA's being quite aggressive with this. Now, it's not as aggressive as 4-gate Blink, but 3 gateways do give you quite a lot of stalkers to work with. They give you map control, and then you expand, then you take the third. Now, with all these Blink stalkers, he should still be quite active here, should be fighting for map control. We'll see if BabyMarine can achieve much, as he is going to be moving out. And I believe he does see the third. He does confirm. Only a singular mine drop from here going straight into tank production. Again, the reason why there are so few Widow Mines is because he is prioritizing tanks more than anything, playing very safe. So very safe play here from BabyMarine. With earlier tanks, it just means that you are very much so secure on 2 bases against 4 gate Blink Stalkers. We can see it's 3 gateways, but BabyMarine just getting ready for it. Taking it seriously. Does kill a worker. But a mine drop has been spotted, so HiGhDrA's in position. BabyMarine gonna have to try to wait to try to distract or try to lure the attention of HiGhDrA away, as he is working on Interference Matrix. We have the Raven Disable upgrade on the way. Behind this is going to be Blink into a Robotics Bay, Colossus production. I imagine Colossi. I mean, technically it could be Disruptors, but that's crazy. It's a little bit wild, a little bit out there. I don't know if HiGhDrA's really one to take those kind of risks. As behind this, we're going for an add-on swap, just building up here on 2 bases again. Just a really early tank, but we only have a single tank here for BabyMarine. Looks like once he realized that his opponent wasn't being aggressive, he cut tank production at 1 and then just went into Widowmine production instead. Okay. So we are just establishing ourselves. First Colossi is on the way. HiGhDrA, interesting that he isn't really being active with these Stalkers. I assumed he would be, but he's just been chilling back at home, more concerned with just building up and denying this Widowmine drop. He hasn't really been too assertive. And now he's getting to his gateway explosion. 5 gates on the way. It's going to be 8 gates in total. Charge slots finishing up, or charge finishing up. Colossi well underway. Now, thankfully for BabyMarine, he hasn't seen the Bay, I believe. He's not fully aware of the tech, but again, this Raven, this Interference Matrix is going to be so invaluable here for BabyMarine, as he is going to be pushing. If he does kind of encounter 1, 2, 3 Colossi, he can disable, he can render them inert, and then BabyMarine can dive on top of the rest of the army. This is going to be a pretty powerful moment from him. He has been spotted. So Naga under control of HiGhDrA. He's getting in position. On top of the ramp, he has force fields. He is aware of where BabyMarine is. But we still have the disables. We don't quite go for the dive. Not yet. Raven taking some hits. We're going for it. We disable both Colossi. We dive on the army. We go for the stim. The Colossi are going to be saved. And HiGhDrA, he does pull back. Shield Battery does top up his army. And the disables, they're running out. We're getting on top of the robo. Big mine shots. Oh my god. Big mine shots here on the Zealots. But we shut down the tank and we force back the army. HiGhDrA will hold. Whew. And it barely does save the robo as well. As we try to dive into the main, but the medevac. Full medevac does go down. Big pickup. BabyMarine being punished for being a little bit too aggressive does go for the mine drop as well. But BabyMarine, he is shut down. And HiGhDrA's in suddenly a really good position. Looking at the resources lost here, he shut down the first tank, medevac, all the Widow Mines. The Raven did survive, at least. But we still have both Colossi, and we're now about to have a third. So just a really solid defense here from HiGhDrA. Now, by the time he pushes, we should have 1 disable available on the Raven. The medevac! No! It gets caught! Medevac is going to get caught in the center of the map. The Widow Mines, they get shut down as well. And mine shots will not go off. They take down a Zealot. And HiGhDrA has a lot of momentum on his side. Medevac across the map gets shut down. And BabyMarine, he knows he cannot save the space. He goes for the lift. Tries to evacuate. At least he does save his workers. He does save his SCVs. Most of them. It's HiGhDrA. He's pushing into the natural. Ghosts have arrived. EMPs are available as well. He does get the EMPs on the Stalkers. Big disable on one of the Colossi. Boys are being pulled, but into a bit of a choke point. And the Colossi, they're going to go ham on this army. Big wave of reinforcements on the way. Vikings, they will shut down the Colossi, but what about the ground army? What about the Zealots? What about the Stalkers? GG gets called, and HiGhDrA snowballs out of control, taking game number 1. Ooh. GG. GG, well played. Oh, HiGhDrA, again, looking very powerful, very defensive in game 1, and I think that's a really smart way to play against BabyMarine. We were talking earlier about how he's a very aggressive player, very much so. That's what we've seen historically. That's what we've seen recently today as well. Very aggressive, and yeah, for HiGhDrA to be to take a more defensive approach here to kind of absorb the blows, the attacks of BabyMarine and go for a big counterattack. Worked very well for him. Again, that first defense was a big moment for HiGhDrA. He suddenly took so much momentum away from BabyMarine. And BabyMarine was on the back foot after that failed initial attack. And now we're getting into game number 2. Can HiGhDrA take the series? Can he go all the way to a qualifying match? Or can we see an ace match? Can we force out that ace match instead? Let's go. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Gressvan, we have the Red Terran player from the land of Italy. Currently teamless, looking for a team, deserving to be on a team. Hopefully he can find a nice home. It is the Red Terran. It is BabyMarine. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Blue Protoss player from the land of the Netherlands, representing Team Roddy, leading the series 1-0. It is HiGhDrA. Oh, this is a blast from the past. As we load into Gressvan of all maps. Now, if you're tuning in more recently, if you weren't aware, this tournament does use an extended map pool. Now, all the current maps are involved, don't get me wrong, except for Alkyone. Alkyone is not a part of this map pool, and some of these older maps are in the map pool. Maps like Gressvan, Ancient Cistern, and 2000 Atmospheres as well. So some much larger maps leading for more macro-oriented games, as BabyMarine does start off with an eBay block. Good way to start off this game number 2, a way to disrupt the economy here. HiGhDrA forced to pull the boys to get on top of this engineering bay. Well, we did get a lot of progression on this, though. It looks like we may end up forcing out a Zealot, and yeah, Zealot is on the way. HiGhDrA refusing to take the unnatural natural, refusing to expand elsewhere. He wants his natural base, and he will eventually get it, but very delayed. But again, for those that are curious, the maps that are added to the OSC map pool are voted on by the players. They are voted on, and yeah, we just go through these rotations basically. I think it was last season we had maps like Death Aura and Jagannatha and Moondance. It was a lot of fun to cast Moondance again after so long. Likewise, it's nice to cast Gressvan. It hasn't been too long since we've casted Gressvan. I would appreciate 2000 Atmospheres. I would love to go back there again after so long. But I appreciate it nonetheless. It's a bit of a breath of fresh air. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but there is a bit of a trend amongst the new maps that are added. I say the new maps. The older maps that were added, Gressvan, Ancient Cistern, 2000 Atmospheres, they're all larger maps. They have a lot of bases. They're a lot more wide open, especially in the center of the map. Features that actually aren't really involved, oh my god, that aren't really involved in the current map pool. Not as much as previously. And of course, the players through the veto process did opt to go for a bit of an older map. Now, we do have reactored Cyclones on the way. Cyclones, they have found a very kind of niche role for themselves in the current meta. They're very much so used in TvT, and in TvP they can be very impactful as well, especially in the early to mid game. It is going to be double Cyclone into double Hellion. This is a very common opener after an eBay block specifically. Now, because of the eBay block, again, the economy is disrupted, like we're forced out as Zealots, like it's a really wonky start here for HiGhDrA, and BabyMarine wants to try to take advantage of how uncomfortable his opponent is. So the Cyclones are on the way, the Hellions soon thereafter. HiGhDrA going for a Blink Stalker based opener. Shield Battery is done. Cyclones have been spotted. HiGhDrA brings everything together. Bit of a 1-1-1. One Zealot, one Adept, one Stalker. With the overcharge, he should be okay. Cyclones do pick off a probe. They get a worker. This might be a one-way trip as they take some extra hits. Hellions, they ignore the army. They go straight for the mineral line. Overcharge is popped, and BabyMarine, he's just pulling HiGhDrA apart. 2 Hellions, they get in, and probes are getting roasted. 3 workers, soon to be 4 probes go down. We get a 5th. Can we get a 6th? Looks like we won't be able to, not in the main base. At the same time, Hellions, they threaten the natural. HiGhDrA will hold, but that is 5 workers going down. that's a pretty good start here for BabyMarine. Pretty good start overall. Behind this, getting into tank production, the rest of his racks is going to be a 3-1-1. 3 racks is 1 factory, 1 starport, into a delayed third. I mean, I say delayed. Third is typically a little bit later here in TvP. So a pretty good start so far by BabyMarine. He also keeps his Cyclones alive, so he's going to be able to top them up. Going to be able to get them back up and running. As we do see a HiGhDrA looking to be a little bit aggressive himself here. Just like the previous game, it is a 3-gate opener, 3-gate blink. But if you remember last game, we went 3-gate blink straight into a very fast third Nexus. This third from HiGhDrA is delayed. It should be on the way. This is not an all-in by any means, but it is much more aggressive here just because we're getting extra warpings of Stalkers, we're prioritizing our Warp Prism, and we are delaying the third Nexus. So HiGhDrA wants to be in the face of BabyMarine this time. He is getting ready to move out. Observer dips in between the bases. This is the other big feature of Gressvan. My brain just opened. Like I just remembered. Gressvan is a very good map for 4-gate blink Stalkers. Now this is only 3 gateways, so again, not as aggressive, not as assertive, but like this is where MaxX really had his way with so many Terran players, specifically because of how big the main is. I mean, look at this. It's huge. It is so easy to dive into the main base and to pick off units, and the SimCity here is lackluster. This tank is so exposed. Well, BabyMarine, it looks like he realized what's going on. Tank is repositioning. Thankfully, we do have a tank on the low ground. But again, this was a map where Max packs every PvT, he would just 4-gate blink Stalker, and he'd kill everyone. The memories. Let's do threats and a dive into the main. Behind this, there's that third base we were talking about. So far, this hasn't really been worth it for HiGhDrA. He's now getting an SCV, gets 2 workers. That's okay. Stalkers, they dive onto the tank on the low ground. But not for free here. Stalkers are getting picked off. The punish is real. We dive on top of the army. HiGhDrA not paying attention. Every single Stalker goes down. Big pick off. GG gets called. It's just too much. And BabyMarine ties up the series 1-1. That was a massive blunder from HiGhDrA, losing his entire army like that. And specifically when it comes to blink Stalkers, when it comes to this kind of army composition, like, you need to build it up over time. It is very delicate, like very delicate micro control. You cannot throw away your units to lose all of your Stalkers in such a way. I mean, that's it. That's GG. Just too much of a mistake there. And with that, we are tied up. We're going to the ace match. We are going all the way to game number 3. Let's go. And I'm excited. What map are we going to be loading into? Do we have some of the older maps or some of the more recent maps? I'm ready for it. I am ready for it. As it looks like game 3 is going to be taking place on Site Delta. Oh, hello, Terran Lord, hello. The Lord of the Terrans. HiGhDRA's in position. I thought for a second Light mistook Stalkers for HiGhDRA, but he's not that crazy just yet. It does feel a little bit weird, right? Like, HiGhDRA is not a Zerg but a Protoss. Like, it's God damn it. Not to be confused with the Korean HiGhDRA, of course. But yes, I haven't lost my mind yet. We're getting there though. We're getting there. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Site Delta, we have the red Terran player from the land of Italy, representing himself but fighting back in this series, forcing the ace match. It is BabyMarine. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player from the land of the Netherlands, representing Team Roddy. It is HiGhDrA. HiGhDRA's. I don't think I ever I don't think I ever got to cast HiGhDrA. Unfortunately, the Korean HiGhDrA, I mean. So I never got to experience HiGhDra's. I'm sure that must have been said at a cast at some point, right? But unfortunately, he was before my my casting time. We didn't start casting until what, 2017, and we didn't start casting pro players until 2019. Which by that point, HiGhDrA had already stepped away, unfortunately. I didn't watch him a lot though. I was a big fan of HiGhDrA. Back in the day, he used to compete in the WCS circuits alongside Polt, alongside Violet, alongside True. True back in the day was on Psystorm, living in America. The good old days. The nostalgia, papi, the nostalgia. But here we go. We do see BabyMarine going for another economic opener once again, going for a racked expand, single gas opener. Meanwhile, this time there was no eBay block, so HiGhDrA is able to get his expansion on location without any issue. Here we go. As is being posted in the chat, exclamation mark B for those brackets. Well underway. Both semifinals will be casted. They will be on the channel. We'll get there. And we should be following this into the upper semifinals first, followed by the lower semis. We'll get there. As once again, a Twilight Council opener. We have yet to see HiGhDrA go for a Stargate. It's been a Twilight Council blink every single game. Different variations, of course, but he has been relying on those blink stalkers. As we see BabyMarine going for a 1-1-1, going for a Hellion opener, actually. Okay. Interesting. Have initial Hellions on the way. BabyMarine did not go Reaper first. There we go. Hellions into mines. Going to be able to chase back that initial depth, gain map control, and zoom across the map. We can see HiGhDrA recalling back home and should be walling off. There we go, SimCity underway. We have the third gateway and a robo. So it's going to be a 3-gate blink opener, just like the last game. Now the question becomes, do we want to be assertive again, or do we take a faster third base instead? We'll see how delayed the third is going to be this time. Meanwhile, BabyMarine working towards his eventual mine drop. Widow Mines are on the way. This time it's going to be a lot more committed. 4 Widow Mines on the way. And do we double down? Do we go into an armory as well? If that was the case, we would have already seen it. There we go. The quadruple mine drop across the map. No armory, so detection won't be required, but regardless, still very committed. And the goal here is for the Widow Mines to drag the Stalker out of position, and then the Hellions can dive into a mineral line as well. We have 2 Stalkers in the main. We have 1 Stalker here at the natural. Actually, we can go straight for the Stalker at the wall. I forgot, Papi. And there we go. The wall has been broken. We dive into the mineral line. Ooh, bit of friendly fire. Hellion does go down, but we get 9 probe kills and 1 more mine in the main. Up. 1 more. Go for it. Send it, Papi. He's waddling in. The mine shot doesn't quite go off. Gets 1 extra probe. 9 workers in total. It was in the middle of that push where I was like, oh, right, you can just go for the wall. I forgot, Papi, I forgot. My brain was panicking. But pretty good, especially considering that 3 Widow Mines were saved, which means we can go in again for a second push. Yo, I have a second cast in a couple of hours. I'm 100% going to need some coffee. I'm 100%, Papi. I'm gonna need some coffee to keep going. The brain, it's leaving me. I saw the HiGhDRAs and my brain, it's melting already. No! Oh, as the medevac does take some extra hits, and yeah, it's gonna have to get the hell out of here. Barely does escape. Behind this, third base is up and running. We have the Bay on the way for Colossus. charge in production, and HiGhDrA's trying to settle himself in. But again, losing 10 workers was a very good start for BabyMarine, and even though he doesn't go in for a second drop, at least he does evacuate with these 3 Widow Mines. So a very strong start here for the Terran. A very strong start. Behind this, we're getting into 5 Raxes, but a faster third CC. Third CC here before his additional Rax production. Very economic from BabyMarine. So he's taken an economic lead, and he's going to be looking to establish himself and get into a 3-base economy. I'm all for it. Scan reveals the robo producing, not much else. The gases, at least. The gases at the natural do confirm that it's not going to be mass charge lot, that there is going to be some splash damage instead of a mass gateway composition. There we go. BabyMarine going to try and push out Stim. Not quite done, though. Good kiting from HiGhDrA. We'll lose a Stalker. At the same time, the Mind Drop coming back into the third base. Ooh, HiGhDrA not in position. Thankfully, doesn't have the best saturation at the third. Good target firing on the Marauder. Oh my god. Very nicely done. The Mind Drop does frighten the workers at the third. But we don't commit yet. Colossi is being active. Another Mind Drop here on the right hand side. Oh my god, the Widow Mines for days! We go for the natural. Decent connections. It looks like 1 Widow Mine will evacuate. 4 probe kills for 2 mines. And we do have another Mind Drop here on the right hand side, poised to go into the main. The main army pushing towards the third base. HiGhDrA caught in between his bases though. Can he defend? Stalkers are repositioning. Observer does spot the medevac in the main. HiGhDrA does react. There we go. He's going to be able to respond in time. How good are the splits? Oh! He does pull back in time. And big connections on the Stalkers though. A couple Stalkers do get picked up. Another Widow Mine here in the natural burrow. Does burrow, and do we react? We do pull away. We do pull away in time. Only 3 workers go down. A nice handling of the situation here from HiGhDrA. Did lose a couple of Stalkers, but oh my god, these medevacs, they just refuse to die. They escape here into the dead space once again. Meanwhile, BabyMarine getting established here on 3 bases. Getting his third up and running. Tanks are sieging. There we go. HiGhDrA is committed. We have 2 Colossi with this. We have a decent amount of sentries for force fields, but BabyMarine, he is so far ahead in supply here. Again, he dealt a good amount of economic damage earlier, and HiGhDrA, he can barely sustain himself. He's down in the economy, down in army, and only has 2 Colossi. Can he somehow pull this off? As the Mind Drops, they come back in. 4 more workers go down. We barely have an economy to begin with. And HiGhDrA, he has to commit. But he's pushing into Vikings, Ghosts, EMPs, tanks, SimCity. Like, how do we break this? We can maybe come in from multiple angles from behind, get us around. Best case scenario, and here we go. We're going for it. We pull the trigger. And Mind Drop's going to be going off. The Colossi, big EMPs on the army. The Colossi, they go down instantly. And there's no more splash damage. GG gets called. BabyMarine will take the series 2-1, advancing on to a qualifying match. GG. GG, well played. Powerful performance there out of BabyMarine. Again, able to flex his aggression, his harassment, his control. Congratulations as he takes down HiGhDrA. My condolences to HiGhDrA as he has been eliminated from the tournament. Again, single elimination. 1 shot is all you have at least until the qualifying matches. And speaking of, we have our first qualifying match.